What's up, peeps? So, lots of conversation going on about the Marvels and how unsuccessful it is as a franchise and or as a movie. And a lot of valid opinions out there, criticisms that are spot on, a lot of assumptions that are being made that I think are less spot on, such as, the superhero fatigue concept. I think that's just a cop out by an industry that's lost touch with its fandom. The people who spent the billions of dollars to prop up their franchise films, I think Disney and Marvel and Lucasfilm have all lost touch with the very fans that built their empire. There was a time not too long ago when you had males. I'm 48 years old, so I'm in the 40 year old male population or demographic within the fandom. I read comics, bought comics. I used to buy comics from comic book stands in LA for 75 cents, which was crazy because they used to be like 25 cents an issue, and they went to 75 cents in my generation. It was like nuts. So I grew up as a comic book reader, and therefore when I saw Captain America, First Avenger, it was a dream come true. When I saw Black Panther, who I never thought would see the light of day on film, and how well they did the character and who they cast for the character and his portrayal of the character. I mean, and Thanos, they pulled off Thanos, which we collectively thought they could never pull that off. It's almost like trying to figure out Galactus. How do you bring Galactus to life without being corny? And somehow they cast the perfect actor and portrayed Thanos in the perfect way. He was terrifying. Thanos is the Marvel Darth Vader. He's like a mix of Darth Vader and the Emperor in one person. And that connected to the people who lived during the generation of imaginative storytelling. But anyway, so I think something's getting missed with the Marvels. Okay, I haven't seen the film. I am not going to see the film. I have no interest in the film because I knew the Marvels was going to be trash. I knew Miss Marvel, the show, was going to be trash. Um, when they introduced Monica Rambeau in the um, the Scarlet Witch series, WandaVision, it was an interesting side character, introduction of a character, and they gradually kind of introduced us to her very quickly. Hadn't met her before, and she gained powers, like just and similar to Captain Marvel herself. We get introduced to her in the Captain Marvel movie, and we have just a couple of hours to learn about this person. It's all about getting up after you fall, being tough, and then something happens to her and she's powerful now. Miss Marvel, same thing. Get introduced to this character, she finds a thing, and she's powerful. And that is the mortal sin that Marvel committed. And they refused, at least publicly, to admit the mistake they made. Forget the haters for a second. There's always going to be people who are hated. There's a culture of hatred that's just going to exist. It's in every generation. Every generation is going to have a culture of hatred. It's just more present now because of social media. Like, they have voice. And that's fine. But don't mix criticism in with that hatred. That hatred is going to spit on you no matter what you do. You could put something great out, they're going to spit on you. That's fine. You can't stop it. But you call criticism hate as well, and that's not fair. Like, it's a valid criticism to say or to suggest that this movie was doomed from the moment that Marvel developed 3 characters who all were created on the same archetype. 3, it wouldn't matter if they're male or female. 3 heroes who just had no growth, no story arc, no challenge they had to kind of overcome to develop character. They all had good character from the beginning. There's nothing explored about their motives. Like, there's no, because every human being has good and bad, positive and negative. And the best heroes find a balance. The best heroes find a purpose. And that purpose is part of their balance. The absolute best heroes are the ones who start off evil, right? Or you think they are evil because you don't understand their motivations. But then you realize they're actually like an anti-hero, where once you understand who they are, you understand they don't just do the popular thing that people think a hero should do. They do things based on their belief system. And none of these 3 people have a belief system. We don't know who these people are. Like, I'm 48 years old. I've lived a life. Forget my skin color, forget my ethnicity. A 48-year-old man in this society, finding your way, finding your place, figuring out your motivations, figuring out who you are, what you're about, what you can and can't do, what you will and will not do. That's a process. And I would think, I'm not a woman, but I would think women have a very similar process of figuring out who they are, what their priorities are, what their beliefs are, what will they do, what won't they do, what are they about, what motivates them. Like, you didn't give us that. All 3 of them got their powers by something that happened to them, or they found a thing that gave them powers. It's like, what power did they have before they got their powers? A job? Captain Marvel was a pilot? Okay, that's great. Thousands of pilots in the world, in the country. What made her special, besides just being chosen to have this exposure to radiation from an Infinity Stone? It's like Monica Rambeau. What made her special? There was opportunity to dig into like what makes her tick. Like, who is this woman that we're supposed to like look at as a hero? She cared about Wanda. That was cool. But like, you gave us 3 heroes that you made so shallow that neither of them could support their own individual films. And instead of owning up to that and being patient and developing their story arcs, whether it's through Disney Plus shows or an appearance in someone else's film, the same patience that you did in Phase 3. Phase 3 was very patient. You get introduced to a new hero. They don't get their movies instantly. It's like, okay, I feel like I know Bucky Barnes much more intimately than I know any of these 3 heroes. I would watch a Bucky movie in a heartbeat because I know him. I know what he's about. I know what motivates him. And he's always got a question as to, just like Hawkeye, you don't know when I'm going to decide. Because you know I'm an independent thinker and I have my belief system. And if it aligns with my beliefs, I'm cool with it. If it doesn't, even if it's heroic, I'm not doing it. Or I might be your enemy if you get on the wrong side of things. That's that complexity, man. And none of these characters, it don't matter if they're female, they could be male. They did the same thing with Adam Warlock. I don't give two craps about Adam Warlock. They did the same thing to him. He was created as powerful. And he's like an infant in his mind. So he's dumb. But he's powerful. And we got a taste of like what his personality might be. But if he pops up again, and if you get an Adam Warlock movie right now, and it's just all about him, but you don't see any of his growth, he's just got a job and powers that were given to him, and he has no arc, that movie would bomb too. Like, dude, it's simple. It's not complicated at all. Develop the characters. Show us who these people are. Help us connect to them. And if we like them, if we like the work you did to tell their story, and we connect with their story and their arc, we'll come to the theater and spend our money to come see them. We'll give you $1 billion franchise if you give us a story worth paying for. That's all I got to say, man. Peace.